how's it going? I'm Eternunique and welcome to my channel. Today is going to be a very special video because it is now my 10-year anniversary on the Eternunique channel. Meaning 10 years ago I created this channel. And my gosh, I cannot believe it's been 10 years already. Time flies, it really does. So in celebration of being on YouTube on this channel for 10 years, I decided I wanted to do kind of a special video, a special anniversary type of video. And I'm going to be talking about a couple things in this video that has to do with the channel. And the first thing I want to do is talk about how this channel was created and where the username of Eternunique came from. So I'm gonna start with that. I've actually been on YouTube for a lot longer than 10 years. I've actually been on YouTube since 2010 actually. I created my first channel and I believe it was called Nintendo Fantasy, and I did like one playthrough on that channel and I called it quits because it wasn't really going where I wanted to go at the time, and I was still learning how YouTube worked back then, and I didn't know what I was doing. Obviously, I was just this new player that came into the scene, didn't know what they were doing, didn't know how YouTube worked, didn't know how to really record properly and all this other stuff. I was very much a newbie, and I said goodbye to that channel, and then I decided I wanted to try again, so I created another channel. Same stuff happened, and then this became a repeat process for a little while where I create a channel, I do something on it, then I quit after a while and delete it, then come back, create another one, same process. So this went on for, I want to say, like 2 years, and then I created one called Celestial Gameplay, and I was on it for a little while, and I really thought I was going to stick with that channel because it was doing better than I had done in the past for sure. So I thought, this is the channel I'm going to be sticking with, but it turned out it wasn't going to be the channel I was sticking with. So around June of 2013, something happened where I'm not going to go into details on what exactly happened, but it was an event that kind of changed my life and made me look at YouTube in a different light, so to speak. So I was in a Skype call, for anyone that remembers Skype back then, with a few friends of mine, and I was trying to think of a username to create a new channel with, because I had already decided at that point that I was going to give up the Celestial Gameplay channel, and my friends were trying to help me pick out a new username, and I was straight up with them. I basically told them I wanted a username that didn't focus on just gaming. In case I wanted to go down a different path later on with the channel, I can do that without having a name tied to just gaming. So we were all trying to think of usernames, and one of my really good friends I know in real life, she came up with the name Eternunique, and what she did was she used a name generator and it put the two words together. And the moment she told me that, I immediately fell in love with the username because it was so different. So I took the name and I created the channel, and that's how Eternunique was born. Eternunique basically is the words eternal and unique put together. So you could say it like Eternunique. Or for people who can't say that username, you can just call me by my first name, which is Amber. So I've gotten used to people just calling me by my first name at this point if they can't say my username, because I know it's different and people look at it like, how do you pronounce that? So it's a very simple name that isn't like a usual username, because I remember back when YouTube first started, and back even when AOL Instant Messenger and MSN Messenger and all that was way back in the day was a thing, people would just come up with these random usernames, and most of the time I remember they'd be like a character from a video game or a movie or something like that, and they would just have a bunch of random numbers behind it. So I wanted something different. I wanted something that wasn't just a character and a bunch of random numbers behind it. So Eternunique was basically born from that, and I was happy with it. So thank you to my friend, you know who you are, for coming up with that username, because it's been great. It's kept my channel going for the last 10 years. So I've been using Eternunique for 10 years now, and I've been using it not only on my YouTube channel, but my social medias, my Twitch channel, and pretty much anywhere I'm at on the internet. So it's been a good username, and I'm happy with it, and I hope to keep using it for a very, very long time. So thank you to my friend again for coming up with that username. I was not really good on YouTube back at the start, as I mentioned. I had other usernames before Eternunique. Two of them I've already mentioned, which was Nintendo Fantasy and Celestial Gameplay. The other third one that was really kind of stuck out, because I had a bunch of usernames, but these three really was the ones that really stuck out, which was Nintendo Fantasy, Celestial Gameplay, and Eternunique. So I had like another username that was kind of unique, but it was tied to gaming, and I didn't want to stick with that. Again, I was not very bright back when I started YouTube, so I didn't realize that you could change your username later on. I was dumb, and I was learning, so I've learned, and lessons have been learned for sure. I'm not really good with explaining stuff, as you can probably tell. Basically what I'm saying is I've learned not to do that, and I have not switched off channels since I started the Eternunique channel, which I'm very proud of myself, to be honest. So I want to also thank people who were there in the call that night that were trying to help me come up with a username. So thank you. You guys know who you are, and you're awesome. So the next thing I want to talk about in the video is the actual Let's Plays and videos themselves on the channel. When I started the Eternunique channel, my idea was mostly going to be doing Let's Plays and some other types of videos that has to do with gaming. Like at one point I thought I could take pretty much clips from the Let's Plays I would do and turn them into montages for people to enjoy. You know, just small ideas like that. And while I have done that kind of stuff on the channel, I've also done different types of videos like vlogs. I've done montages. I've done all sorts of types of videos on this channel. And I've also done some bad. I've deleted videos. I've uploaded, would keep on there for a while, and then I would delete them. I deleted whole playthroughs. I've deleted a lot that I probably shouldn't have not done. And again, I was still learning. And up until recently, I realized this actually hurts the channel more than it helps it. So what I've done recently as well is I've created a archives channel where I can upload all the old stuff that was on the main channel before. And that's helped my main Eternunique channel, because it keeps all the old stuff off of it and keeps the stuff I actually want to keep on there. And there were some old playthroughs that I took off as well that I had done when I first started the channel. Two of the biggest ones was the Lion King playthrough, which was the first playthrough I did on the channel, and the Deadpool playthrough that I did when Deadpool first released back in 2013, 2014, somewhere around there. So I took those videos off the channel and I put them on my archives channel in montage forms. And that's helped, because that way the videos are still there in some form and people could go back and watch them, but it also keeps the channel clear of old Let's Plays that I might not have been too happy with, and I want to, I don't know, redo in the future, maybe. Hint, hint. So that's helped a lot, and the archive channel has done really well so far, and it's kept the main channel going as well. I've also created a streams archive channel because I stream on Twitch now and have been for quite a while. I want to say at least 4 or 5 years now I've been streaming on Twitch, and I've been uploading my streams to my streams archive channel for people who didn't know that. And that's helped keep the main channel clear as well, and keeps it focused on the main videos such as the Let's Plays, the vlogs, that kind of stuff. There's been a lot of good playthroughs that I've done, but there's also been some playthroughs that I've hated. I know hate is a really strong word, but I've actually very much disliked some of these playthroughs I've done, and that's why I've took them off the channel and put them either on the archives channel or just straight up got rid of them. The Deadpool one, it was really popular back when I first did the playthrough, but the quality of the videos was so horrendous, and I was not happy with my commentary in that playthrough at all. So I've basically gone and straight up gotten rid of the playthrough. At some point I would like to redo that game and make it better now that I've had better technology to work with and better mics, better recording capture card stuff. You know, I've upgraded my tech in the last 10 years as well. That's another thing. So at some point I would like to go back and redo some of these Let's Plays that are no longer on the main Eternunique channel and make them better, because I've learned a lot and I want to show that I can do better, not only for you viewers, but to prove it to myself as well. So I'm sorry for anybody that actually liked those playthroughs. Some of it is still on the archives channel, which I've always linked in my video description thing below the video. So if you want to check out anything, they are most likely on the archives channel. And if they're not, then know that I'm planning on redoing those videos and those Let's Plays in general. I've done some really good Let's Plays. I've done a co-op with my friend Sonic Ghost on Majora's Mask, and that playthrough was one of the best I've ever done in co-op form. I enjoyed doing that playthrough, and that was back in like 2014, 2015 when we did that playthrough. So back when the channel was still somewhat new, we did that playthrough, and going back and watching it today is a little bit harder because you could tell the sound quality is a lot different back then than what it is now for both of us, because we both obviously upgraded our equipment and everything. So going back and watching that is really hard, but it's also kind of funny because there's a lot of funny moments in that playthrough, and I'm going to be uploading that to the archives channel as well for anybody that wants to watch it. But it's also on Sonic Ghost's channel, my friend Sonic Ghost, who I did the co-op with. So if you want to watch it now, you can always go to his channel and watch it, and I'll link the playlist on this video as well. Another playthrough that I did on the Eternunique channel was a co-op with my husband, 𝗪𝗀𝗄𝐴 Adventures. We did a co-op of Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green together, and that playthrough was a lot of fun. It had a lot of interesting moments and some very questionable moments as well, if I can say so myself, but we had a lot of fun doing it together because we're both big Pokemon fans, and he actually knew more about the game than I did, so that helped out that he could fill in that information that I didn't know. And I make a joke because I call him the walking Pokédex because he pretty much knows everything about Pokemon at this point. So that was a fun playthrough to do together, and I was really proud on how that one came out. And we started doing that playthrough probably back in 2016, 2017. And then we had to quit because life happened. And then we kind of went back and redid it again back in 2018-ish. And then we finally finished it, and it's all up on the channel now for anybody that wants to watch it. So that was a really fun playthrough to do. So I'm happy about that one. I really am proud of that one, and thank you, Matt, for doing a playthrough of Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green with me. I really do want to hopefully do more playthroughs like that in the future on the channel with my husband, and maybe more Pokemon games in the future, because it would be cool to do more Pokemon games. There are other playthroughs I can mention that have been on the Eternunique channel, but those two are basically the ones that I loved doing the most in the last 10 years. The Majora's Mask one, again, is going to be on the Archives channel, but the Pokemon Fire Red one is on the main channel if you guys ever wanted to check it out. And I would suggest checking them out because they are both really good, and we had a lot of fun with them for sure. So I'm not gonna really go into much detail on the other playthroughs I've done. Anything that I've done is on the main channel that I wanted to keep, and I suggest watching them. There's been a lot of playthroughs I've done in the last 10 years, so I suggest going to watch the ones that's on the channel. There's been a lot that I started recording and then decided that it wasn't a good LP, so there was a lot that I did not upload, but definitely go check out the ones that are there if you want to. There's been a lot of people that have supported me in the last 10 years on this channel, and most of them have supported me on my older channels as well before the Eternunique channel was born. And there's a lot of people I could sit here and thank all night, but I want to say a big thank you to the viewers first, who watch the videos, comment, like the videos, etc, etc, because it brings me joy to know that you guys like the videos and you're enjoying them. I don't do YouTube for a job, in a sense. I don't make an income off of YouTube at all, I'll just be honest. So I do YouTube as a hobby, and it's something I enjoy, and it's something that I can relax with in a way. I like recording videos, I like the editing and getting them uploaded. I know it's a lot of work, but it's something I like doing, and I enjoy this hobby, I really do. So thank you viewers who watch the videos and give me some good feedback and such too. I really do appreciate everyone that watches the videos, and it shows that, you know, all the time I take to do these videos is worth it when people watch them, so thank you. There are a few shout outs I want to give out though, for people who have stuck by me in the last 10 years, and even again before I started the Eternunique channel. So I want to start off saying thank you to my friend Patrick, or Farley Productions as he goes by now. I've known Patrick for many years. He's a really good friend of mine. I don't always keep in contact with him like I should, and that's something I need to change, but he is an amazing friend, and he's really good with tech stuff, really good with filming stuff. He's actually filming a movie currently, and I think it's going to be a really good movie. He's filmed some short films in the past, but this is going to be an actual movie, and I'm looking forward to seeing it myself. But thank you, Patrick, for everything you've done, for supporting my channel, and just supporting me and Matt in general. He's the one that actually did our wedding video. For anybody that's seen that, it used to be on the channel, but now it's not for obvious reasons. But he's the one that filmed our wedding video. He took the time to come out to where our wedding was being held and did that for us. So thank you, Patrick. I really do appreciate it, and I know Matt does too. The next person I want to thank is my friend Phantom Light, or as I know him by, Steve. I've known Phantom Light for many years now, and I actually met him when I started my first channel. He's a very funny guy, and he likes to do voice impressions. He's the one I did my Resident Evil 6 co-op playthrough with, which is actually another playthrough that I really enjoyed that I forgot to mention. He is very funny. He's really good at video games, that kind of stuff, and I don't really get to talk to him as much as I would like to, because, you know, we both have our own lives. We're both busy. He has his channel, I have my channel, that kind of stuff. But he's a really good friend of mine, and I want to say thank you, Steve, or Phantom Light if you just prefer your username, for being a friend of me and Matt and making us laugh, because everybody needs a good laughter for sure. So thank you, Steve. The next person I want to thank is my friend Allison, or as she goes by on the internet, 𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗏132. I've known her since I started YouTube, and while I didn't really talk to her as much in the beginning, in recent years I've started to talk to her more, and she's a really good person. She's really good at art, like really good at graphic design and digital art. She's the one that actually designed my icon and my profile banner, the character art, that is. I designed the text and everything, but she designed the character arts, and I think she did an amazing job on them. She did not only mine, but the rest of the character art she did for my friends, the 𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃, which I'll get into at the end of this video. So thank you, Allison, or 𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗏, for everything you've done as well. And I'm glad we're starting to talk more, and I'm glad we're starting to become good friends. And she has a Twitch channel that I'll link in the description as well. She does a lot of various games on her Twitch channel, and she's a really good streamer, and she's very funny. So go watch her, go check her out and support her as well. The next friend I want to thank is my friend 𝗪𝗏𝗀𝗃, or as I know him by, Jarrett. He is one of the most funny guys I've ever had a chance of meeting, and I do not regret meeting Jarrett at all. And I will never regret meeting Jarrett, because he's a good friend. He's been there not only to make us laugh, but he's also been there when we needed support. When something would happen and we needed a friend, he would be there. I love Jarrett. He's a funny guy, and I love his sense of humor, and I love that he's such a really relaxed type of guy. He doesn't really do YouTube as much anymore because life happens. But I met Jarrett around the same time I met my friend Lester and a bunch of other people. So thank you, Jarrett, for being in my life and for always making me laugh when I need a good laugh as well. Because again, everyone needs a good laugh every once in a while. The next person I want to give a shout out to and thank is my friend Marley, or 𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗏26. He is the music guy in our group for sure, and he is very, very good at music, and his editing skills are out of this world. I've had a pleasure of knowing Marley as long as I've known everyone else, and he's blown my mind in some of his edits. Not only does he do for his own channel, but for the 𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃 as well. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is great. I wish I could edit like this. And they're just like basic edits, most of them, and they're still really good. So Marley, thank you for being a part of my life as well, and for being a supporter when things go wrong as well, and just being there in general. I hope we continue to be good friends and hopefully get closer and getting to know each other more in the future. These last three I'm going to give a shout out to are three of the most important people in my life. And the first one is my friend IndieCat. She's been not only my online friend for many years, but she's also my real life best friend. I've known her since I was in middle school, and we've known each other for a very long time. She knows me like the back of her hand, and I know her like the back of my hand. And she's always been one of my biggest supporters whenever I would decide to stop using the current channel back in the day and create a new one. She was always supportive of it. She's been there through pretty much thick and thin with me on a lot of stuff, and I'm thankful to have her in my life. I really am. I'm getting a little emotional thinking about it, as you could probably tell, but I'm just really do appreciate her. She's a funny girl. She's very smart and lovable for sure, and I'm just thankful to have her in my life. She does have her own channel as well, which I'll also link. I'll pretty much put everybody's channels in the description for anybody that wants to check them out. So she does a lot of indie games on her channel, but it's not always just indie games. and I suggest going to watch her. She's very funny, and she's starting out, but she's doing really good. So thank you, Bethany, and just thank you for everything. That's all I could really say is thank you for everything. The next one I want to give a shout out to is to my friend Sonic Ghost, or as I know him by, Lester. I've known Lester ever since I started being part of the 𝗪𝗂𝗃𝗃, and he is one of the greatest guys I've ever met. He's very smart when it comes to technology. He's kind of our tech person in our group, and whenever I had a question about technology, he was always there to answer or to help me with. So I've had so many memories with Lester online, and I can't name them all because there's so many, and I'm just really appreciative of him for being in my life as a friend. And he's actually like a brother to me, really. When I really think about it, he's definitely like a brother to me, and I hope to do a lot more projects with him in the future and just continue being friends with him, and hoping our friendship grows into more than what it already is. And what I mean by that is just being really good friends for pretty much as long as we can be. I'm not really good at explaining my words, sorry, but he knows what I mean. And I just want to say thank you, Lester, for everything. You've really been a really good friend to me, and I appreciate everything you do. I really do. The last person I want to mention is my biggest supporter, my rock to go to, pretty much everything. When I started YouTube, I never thought I would actually meet my husband online. I can't believe it's been, I want to say like 12 years now since I met my husband, which is 𝗪𝗁𝗲 Adventures. I'm getting a little emotional right now, forgive me. I've met my husband through YouTube. We started off being really good friends, and we kind of just went from there. He was my supporter in the beginning, and now he's my biggest supporter of all time. And it's kind of a funny story how we met. I was looking around different YouTube videos, and I was looking at Pokemon videos because at the time Pokemon Black and White had just came out, and or was it Black and White 2? No, it was Black and White, and it was really popular on YouTube, and he was doing a Let's Play of it, and I happened to come across one of his videos, and I watched a couple of them, and I thought he was really good. So I sent him a message back when YouTube actually had a messaging system, and I just started talking to him. I told him I thought his video was really good and I wanted to see more, and he wrote me back saying thank you, he appreciates the kind words, and he was hoping to do more on the Let's Play. And we kind of just started talking from there, and it got to the point where we were talking every night and we were getting to know each other, and before I knew it, we were like best friends. And then we went from that to dating and being engaged, and now married. We've been married since 2018, and I would not trade him for anything. He's been a wonderful person, and when I even have my bad days, he's still there, and not a lot of people can handle me on my bad days, I'll admit. So I just want to say thank you, Matthew, for everything, and I really do appreciate you, and I'm glad you're in my life, and I love you, and I always will. So thank you, Matthew. The last two things I want to talk about in this video is going forward on the channel and what the 𝗪𝗂𝗃𝗃 is. For anybody who doesn't know what the 𝗪𝗂𝗃𝗃 is, it's a collab group that my friends and I started back in like 2011, and I've been on there ever since 2011 when I was on one of my older channels. And it has myself, 𝗪𝗁𝗲 Adventures, Sonic Ghost, 𝗪𝗁𝗁𝗀26, and Geratino in it. And we just do Let's Plays on that channel, and sometimes we do other types of videos like GIF on wrapping videos that we do with each other, where we exchange like Christmas gifts with each other, and sometimes we have like different intros, or we'll talk about our games of the year type of videos. It's been one thing after another with that channel, but it's been a lot of fun, and I suggest if you haven't yet, go on to check it out, because we are still active on that channel and we're trying to make it more active. There's been times where we've like taken long periods off the channel, and that was because life was happening and people just could not get together to record. But we've been doing better recently on it, and we've been trying to keep it active. So please, if you want to, go check out that channel as well. So how am I going to move forward with the Eternunique channel? I'm hoping, I'm not making any promises because I've done that in the past and they haven't come true. I'm hoping to do more playthroughs in the future. There's a lot of games I want to do Let's Plays on, and there's some games I want to redo Let's Plays on. One of the biggest ones is the first Let's Play I ever had on the Eternunique channel, which was the Lion King for the Super Nintendo. The Lion King is a very basic game, but it's also one of the hardest games in history because people always said it was really hard growing up. And I remember playing that game a lot as a kid, and it was hard. I could never beat it as a kid, but recently I've been playing it again and I've gotten a lot better at the game. And when I did that playthrough, when I started the Eternunique channel in 2013, I was very nervous about it because it was like one of those games that was kind of hard to commentate on when you're trying to focus on the game. So I want to redo that playthrough. The old playthrough is still around, it's just not the full thing. It's now in a montage form, and it's on my archives channel for anybody that wants to check that out. But I want to redo that playthrough, and I think now is a good time. So starting later today, I'm going to be releasing the first part of the Lion King redo playthrough, or Let's Play if you want to keep the term Let's Play going. I hope everybody will enjoy that because it is kind of a special anniversary Let's Play, and I want to go back to where I was in 2013 when I was first starting the Eternunique channel. And I don't mean like going back with the old equipment or anything like that. I want to go back in time and relive that playthrough and have fun with the game again and try to make it better this time. I want to improve myself on my videos and try to make them better. I still have a lot of growing to do, even though I've been on YouTube on this channel for over 10 years. I still have a lot of growing to do, and there's still a lot I need to learn, and I'm never going to learn everything, but I want to improve as much as I can. So I want to say thank you again to everybody that's supported me, that has been there with me, and who's just watched my videos in general. I really do appreciate everyone, and I hope everybody will enjoy the upcoming redo Let's Play of the Lion King that will be starting later today. So with all that being said, thank you so much for watching the video. I can't believe it's been 10 years, and I hope, maybe, hopefully, in another 10 years I'll still be doing this, and I'll be a lot better than I've been in the past. So thank you again for watching, and I will see you next time. Take care, everyone. Growing up, I was fortunate enough to get pretty much any video game I wanted. I was very young and very naive when it came to video games. So luckily, I had an older brother that kind of showed me the video games that was good and the ones that was bad. I'm very fortunate that my brother and I was very close growing up, and he was the one that actually got me into video games. Had it not been for my brother, I probably never would have met my husband, because I probably never would have been into video games as much as I am today. But I will always remember those earlier days of us playing video games together, playing things like Super Mario World and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Time, and even Aladdin together on Super Nintendo. one of the very first video games we played together was actually the original Mario Bros. On NES. And then we played Super Mario Brothers together. It was very good times back then, and I will always cherish those memories. Then, around June 24th of 1994, something happened that changed my life. Something that still has a big impact on my life today when it comes to video games. The Lion King was released in theaters, and I remember seeing the trailer for it before it came out in theaters, and remember begging my parents to take us to go see it. And I have a very large family, and most of my cousins and stuff was wanting to see the movie as well. So I remember, like, opening weekend, we all went to the movie theater and watched The Lion King together for the first time. It was my immediate family, my cousins, some aunts and uncles, and the whole theater was packed. Everybody was wanting to see this movie, and it was different from the Disney movies from before, and I loved it. I loved every moment in the movie, and yes, I did cry when Mufasa died. When I saw that scene for the very first time, I did cry. So the movie was really good, and everybody loved it, and it is still my favorite movie to this day. And I'll never forget the experience of getting to watch it for the very first time. After that, after the movie came out, I would rewatch it, and I wanted to get everything that I could from The Lion King, when it came from the toys, the books, or even the stuffed animals. I wanted to collect everything I could on it. And my parents would, again, I was fortunate enough to have parents that was able to afford this kind of stuff. They would get me everything they could from the store that they saw The Lion King. Then something else happened that really impacted my life. I was watching TV one day. I remember this very, very well. And a commercial came on, and it was showing The Lion King. I was thinking, okay, this is cool. This is something to do with The Lion King. And my brother was watching it with me as well, because at the time we shared a bedroom, and he was watching TV with me in our bedroom. And they showed some scenes from a video game, and it was from the Lion King video game. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, this looks so cool. I have to play this game. This is like my favorite movie. My parents know how much I love this movie, and my brother knew how much I loved it too, and he loved it just as much as I did. And we were both sitting there talking about it, getting excited about it, and we ran into the kitchen where my mom was, and we were like begging her for this video game, and she didn't know what it was, what we were talking about at the time. She was asking what video game and stuff, and we told her that there was a Lion King video game coming out, and we wanted to get it. And that Christmas, my brother actually got the gift, but it was for both of us. And that Christmas, they got us the Lion King video game, and I was so excited. And we played it for like hours that night on our Super Nintendo. We got the Super Nintendo version because we didn't have a Sega Genesis, even though it was released for Sega at the time as well. And we got stuck on the second level, the I just can't wait to be king level, and we were getting frustrated, but we were loving it because we were playing it together. And I remember, like, weeks after that, we kept trying to beat this game. We'd go back and play different games, but then we'd always come back to the Lion King and we'd play it again. And we kept trying and trying, and eventually we got better, and we got past the I can't wait to be king level, and we got past the elephant graveyard level, and so on and so forth. And we just kept playing it, and we got to, I want to say it was like the second last level of the game, and we just could not get past that level. We would get so close, and we just could not do it. And some of my older cousins would come in and visit at times throughout the year, mostly during the summer. And even up to that summer, that next summer after that Christmas when we got the game, we were still trying to beat it. And we would always get to that one level, and we just could not do it. So I remember one night, it was a weekend, it was like a Saturday night, I believe, or a Friday night. And on Friday and Saturday nights, my parents would let us stay up late. And they said that we could play video games. Like, they didn't always want us to play video games, even though it was something we enjoyed. They wanted us to be normal kids and stuff as well, and go outside and play and all that stuff too. But usually on like late Friday nights and Saturday nights, we'd be playing video games. And I remember one weekend, a bunch of my older cousins came over, and they were visiting from another state too. And we all just stayed in our room and played video games that night. And the only game we played was The Lion King, trying to beat that past that level. And finally, my brother remembered something he heard from a friend from where he went to school with, and he inputted a cheat that allowed us to get the I can't say the word. Sorry, my speech sometimes isn't the greatest. Basically, we could beat the game without having any deaths. And he put it in the cheat, and we were able to beat the game finally. Even though it was cheating, we were finally able to see the end of the game. And when we got to the part where you have to throw Scar off the ledge, and we got to the ending screen where Simba's roaring on top of Pride Rock and the rain starts falling, we cheered. Like, we got so excited because we knew this was the end of the game because it was based off the movie. And we felt so good because we finally got to beat the game, and it was so nice. And it was just like, we were a bunch of happy kids that weekend. And even my cousins who hadn't been there the whole time of us playing it, they were happy because they liked it too. And it was fun, and we were happy. And that's a memory that I always like going back and looking back on, because it was a good memory, and it's something that I cherish in a way because it was so good and it was fun. So that's kind of the story of how I got into the game, and it kind of impacted me to the point where it changed my view on video games in general. Because up to that point, I was used to playing like Mario, Teenage Mutant Turtles, and a couple other Disney games. But The Lion King was the first one where it was actually a challenge. And it changed my viewpoint. Like, okay, not all games are going to be easy. And had it not been for the Lion King video game, I probably never would have had that experience until much later in life, mind you. But I got to experience it as a young child, and I love that memory. That's something I'll always cherish. Years later, I was able to get my own copy of The Lion King again on Super Nintendo that I got off of eBay. I had lost my original copy of the game, the one that my parents got us for Christmas that year, and I gave it to a younger cousin of mine when I started getting into other video games. And this was years later, like this is past like PS1, PS2 days. And I never had a copy again until I was able to get one on eBay, and it was a full copy with the instruction manual of the game in the box. And then in 2019, they released a collection of games called Disney Classic Games Collection, and Disney Classic Games in general. And it had both the Lion King and Aladdin on it at first. And I was so excited because I was like, oh my gosh, this looks so good when I was watching the trailer. And I wanted to play the game again. I could always play it on my Super Nintendo, but playing it in higher definition and all that stuff, playing it on modern consoles such as PS4, Switch, and Xbox was really exciting to me. So my husband, being the generous heart that he is, went and got me a copy of it. And I even went and got a copy of it on Steam too, because I was so excited about the game and I wanted to get everything I could on it for every console that I could. And I did. I got pretty much on every console except for Xbox. So I got it on Switch, Steam, and PS4. And then in 2021, they added the Jungle Book to it. And they were going to make another physical copy for it. So you could get, like, if you didn't already have the game, you could go ahead and get it with all 3 games on it. And even though I already had the original Classic Games Collection, I wanted to get another physical copy of all 3 games, including the Jungle Book, to have as physical as well. And that's what I did. I only bought this one once, though, because I didn't need like another 6 copies of the same game. And I went ahead and got it on Switch because I was used to playing The Lion King on Super Nintendo, and that's what the system I wanted to keep it on. Even though I had it on Steam and stuff as well, I wanted to keep the original on Switch and be able to play that version whenever I want to. And that's what I did. I went and got another copy of it with the Jungle Book added, and went and got another physical copy. And you can go, if you just have the original classic games, you can still go get the Jungle Book, and it's as paid DLC. You just have to pay some money for it. But if you get the physical copy, you get all 3 games, and you can have it on physical that way. And the cool thing about it, because they're such old games, they all play off of one cart or one disc. So it's cool, and I like that. Now that I've talked about The Lion King and why it has such an impact on my life and why the game is so important to me, let's actually get into the Let's Play part of this. I'm going to go ahead and start off by going over the menus and showing you the differences between the Classic Games collection. I'm going to be playing the collection that has the Jungle Book added on to it because it makes sense. It's the newest version. So I'm going to be doing that, and I hope I can explain this well because this is going to be a lot to go over. So when you first get in, you're going to see all 3 games. You're going to see Aladdin on top, The Lion King in the middle, and then at the bottom, the Jungle Book. And when you hover over each game, you can see they have different menu screens for each game. Like Lion King has Mufasa and Sarabi, and Rafiki and Baby Simba, for example. If you hit Y down there at the bottom, you can see where it says A select and then Y for options. You'll get a little menu here, and this is for the main menu. This isn't even getting into the game yet. It has settings, achievements, and credits. Settings only has one setting, and that is changing your language. So if you wanted to change it to a different language besides English, you can do that here. And it has a variety of different languages you can play on. I'm going to be sticking with English for obvious reasons. Achievements. The Switch has its own built-in achievements, but obviously PS4 and Xbox will have their own achievements as well, and trophies. But for the achievements, you get 3 different ones for The Lion King for beating it on each mode. 1 on easy, 1 on hard, and 1 on normal. And then the credits is just the original credits, the digital Eclipse in general credits. But we're not going to be watching that. I'm just kind of showing you what it is. But yeah, that is the main menu options. But if you go into the game, you'll get another set of different options. You'll get play, museum, and soundtrack. Play is obviously to go play the game, and we'll be getting into that. But let's show out the museum first. The museum is very interesting in my opinion. It has these little video clips that you can go and watch about the producer talking about making the game. Someone was talking about making the movie. And I'm not going to be playing these, but if you own the game and you want to go watch these, I suggest going to watching them. I watched 1 and it was really good. If you have an interest in how they made it, it's definitely worth the watch. And then we have the movie art style, which shows how they created the characters, came out with the color guides, and then the size comparison for each character of the Lion King movie. And by the way, the Aladdin and the Jungle Book stuff has this as well. It's just for their games. And then finally we have soundtrack. And in soundtrack, we have 2 different versions. We have Console N and Console S. Console N is for the Super Nintendo. Console S is for the Sega Genesis version. And obviously, there's going to be some sound differences between each 2 because they're different hardware. Different data chips and all that technical stuff that we don't really need to get into. And I didn't mean to back out there, by the way. That was an accident. But in soundtrack, you can pretty much go and listen to any song that's in the game. And they have all the songs that's in the game here. And you can listen between the 2 different versions as much as you want. But you can also shuffle the songs so they're not playing in just one order. You can shuffle them to play in whatever order. But you can also repeat the songs. So say if you had to like step away but you had the game on your TV and you can hear it for wherever you're going, you can repeat the song as much as you want until you come back if you want to listen to it over and over again, for example. I've actually done that. I've walked away from my living room to go into like my bedroom for a minute and I could still hear the TV from the bedroom, and I would just let the song play. Or if I was like working on something and I just wanted to listen to like Lion King music, for example, that's a good way of doing it. And some of these songs are really good in both versions. I think personally the Super Nintendo version is better, but not dissing on the Sega version, because they're both really good. It's just I grew up with the Nintendo version more, obviously. Then obviously if you go to play, you'll come up on this menu that has the different game version. You have the console N version, which is the version I'm going to be playing, the Super Nintendo. And then you have console S and console Japanese version. I don't know what the difference is about the Japanese version. Maybe it's just like a little bit harder. I don't know. I never played it. But this also has its own menu, which you can select difficulty and have music on and such. And if you go down to level select or the invincibility cheat, this menu will pop up saying, hey, if you do this, your achievements are going to be disabled because you're cheating. Are you sure you want to do this? Don't feel bad if you cannot get past the level and you want to do this. They put this in here for a reason, because they know the game is hard. So I'm going to be playing it on difficult for this Let's Play, but I'm not going to be cheating. And I'm not going to be skipping levels or turning on the invincibility cheat. I'm going to be doing this my own way. There's also a default option where it'll change it back to the default options. You can also go to controls and make them however you feel comfortable. I'm going to be sticking with the default. But notice there's a rewind button here. That's new for this version. And I'm going to be going into that during this Let's Play and telling you what it does. But remember that it's there. So that's pretty much it. That's all the menu stuff that we can check out, right? But wait, you notice there's a little button down there that says bonus games. What is this? There's a handheld version. And then there's the handheld color version. This is the Game Boy and Game Boy Color versions of the game. I honestly didn't know they made these until this Classic Collection came out. So that is something interesting that I learned about this. So you have your different versions you can play on this collection. Again, for the sake of the Let's Play, I'm just going to be sticking with the console N version, which is, again, the Super Nintendo version. And that's the version I grew up with. And that's what I'm used to. Hey everyone, how's it going? I'm Eternunique, and welcome to the official start of my Lion King Let's Play. Here on the main menu, we have two options here. We have Start and Options. So let's go ahead and go down to Options and see what that gives us. We have just a few, not as many as the main menu, but the thing we want to look out here is the difficulty, which I'm going to be playing on the hardest mode, which is difficult. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started.
It stops.
Yes, it does, Timon. So welcome to the Prairie Lands, the first level of the game. We have Simba, who has basic controls. All you need to know for Cub Simba is Y and A. That's it. And of course the D-pad to move around. I'll go into the controls more. So these are the special items and power-ups you can get within the game. And I know that's kind of hard to see on screen, the list of all the bugs and stuff you can get. So I'm going to go ahead and read it out, what each text says, so you guys know as well. Starting with the plain beetle, it restores half of Simba's health. The pattern beetle restores all of Simba's health. So there is a difference between the plain beetle and the pattern beetle. The African red bug, it increases Simba's total health. The blue beetle increases Simba's roar. The 1-up is obviously basic, it gives you an extra life. But on here it says, increases the number of Simba's chances by 1. A maximum of 9 chances can be accumulated at any one time. And then the circle life symbol, which is from the movie as well, allows one continue in the game when all chances have been lost. So those are our continues that we need to collect throughout the game. So if we lose any lives, and we get down to our last life, we'll have a continue ready to go so we don't have to restart the whole game over with. Because on Super Nintendo games, they didn't really have like save points. Once you hit game over, it literally was game over. So we got to be careful there. The fly ends the bonus games. In the levels, it causes the loss of roar. Simba will be unable to roar for a short time. So be careful about that. You don't want to collect the flies. I almost said fries there. Spider ends bonus game level. And the actual levels, it decreases Simba's health by a lot. So avoid basically the fly, the spiders, the dragonfly, and the bombardier beetles. And that's the last 4 items on this list, by the way. The dragonfly, it ends the bonus game, and it also decreases Simba's health as well. Not by a lot, but it'll decrease it, so be careful about that. And then the bombardier beetle, it ends the bonus game, and it decreases Simba's health by a little. So there's like 3 different bugs that can decrease Simba's health. The spider is the worst one, so we want to avoid the spiders at all costs. So that's all the special items and power-ups that you can get in the game. There's one more, but I'll be showing that off in just a moment, and it's on this level, on the starting level, so I'll be going over that once we get to it. On top of showing off all the collectibles in this LP, I decided to show off the map where each collectible is on each level's map. Starting with the Pride Lands map, which is our first level here, I think this map is kind of basic compared to levels that are coming up later in the game. But it does show off where all the items are, including the 1-up and the continue, and the checkpoints, which I'll be going over in this video as well. And you can see all the bugs up where they're at. Some are up in the treetops, some are on the platforms. But for a first level, this isn't too bad. And having these maps are going to help for people that are going to be playing along on the difficult mode with me. So I hope this will help everybody as well, because it sure did help me when I was recording this LP, that's for sure. So yeah, these are the maps, and I'm not going to be going over every map on each video. It's just for the first one I kind of wanted to explain what these maps are for. So yeah, I hope this helps everybody. So yeah, I'm going to be going over the controls more as we go through the game. Basically, the controls are really easy. But we have some enemies here. These little green lizard things we can jump on. They use like their tongue to hit Simba if they hit them. And we can also hang off ledges like I just showed off there. There's a neat little trick here. You can roll into these porcupines by holding down and rolling. And it saves on your roar meter if you do that. But you can also roar at them like I'm doing here. And they'll flip upside down, they'll get scared, and then roll on their back, and then you can hit their tummies and knock them out. These blue bugs, when you step on them, get away, because they go boom. I don't know why they go boom, but they go boom. If you're lost on the level, you can also kind of like look down and look up, and you can go back as well. Like if you forgot something, you can go back. You can't do that on every level, but at least for the Pride Land level, you can. Since this is the first level of the game, they're gonna make it a little bit easier. So yeah, what you want to do for each level is you just want to make your way through, collect the items as you can. You don't have to fight every enemy. You can skip most of them, actually. I just, being me when I play these types of games, and going and defeating all the enemies myself. So there's our first power up, and these checkpoints here. If you have continues, you can restart from this checkpoint, and you won't have to replay through the whole level again. This is going to come in handy for later levels, trust me. So make sure to get those checkpoints when you can. This level only has 1 checkpoint, so. And when Simba gets hurt, he kind of does like a fade effect, as we just saw there. And I don't know what it is with this green lizard down there. he doesn't like to be disturbed. I'll put it that way. So there's our second power up, and we're back at the green lizard here. But look how this is. Like, I'm trying to get to him, and Simba's just not wanting to get down there to get to him. And I don't know what it is about this level in particular that does that, where it's hard to get to him. So your best bet might be just to skip him, because again, you don't have to fight every enemy. So there is some secrets in some of the levels, and I'm gonna show them all off. Over here on the right side of the Pride Lands level, you can climb down this like ledge area and get your first one up. And this is our first one up on difficult mode. And on other modes, you can start off with a number of lives. They give you a number of lives to start off with. And because we're playing on the classic version, I'm going to be showing off some of the best save areas to save at. And to do that, you just open up your menu by hitting the minus button on the Switch version and going down to save. And if you don't want to use like the save method that they give you in the Disney Classics version, you don't have to. This is just what I'm doing for this LP, and I'm trying to make this game as easy as I can for people. So here at the bottom, we can get our first continue as well, and watch out for that porcupine. So you might be thinking, oh, how do we get back up? There's like no ledge or anything to get back up, right? There is. On this rock here, just kind of roll down to the side here, and you'll be back at the start of the level. And then you just work your way back up again. You don't have to get every item in the game, by the way. If you don't want to do like the bonus levels, or, you know, fill up Simba's roar meter or his health meter, that's up to you. But because I'm trying to do 100% on this Let's Play, I'm going to be showing off everything and get all the main bugs and everything. I'm not going to be getting all the bugs, just the ones that increase like our roar meter and health and stuff like that. And I always love this view. Can I just say that Pride Rock there in the background is really pretty. I don't know why. As a kid, that always like amazed me, because I was still like a Lion King fanatic, and I wanted to like see everything with Lion King. So here we go. We have our first like quote unquote boss of the level, and it's really easy. The hyena is just gonna jump down, and you just go to the side that they're not jumping at and jump on top of them. And in difficult mode, it takes 3 hits to knock them out.
Everything the light touches is our kingdom.
Yes, it is, Mufasa. Yes, it is. So here's the map for the next level. Kind of a little bit more difficult, right? So this is the I can't wait to be king level, and this is the level that got everybody stumped as a kid. And there's for good reasons for that. So starting off, you want to jump up here on the giraffes' heads and make your way across, and be quick, because they're gonna like tilt their head back and knock you down. So at the beginning it said roar at monkeys, but it didn't say which monkeys, and we have like blue and pink monkeys here. Well, here's a hint. The blue monkeys do nothing. It's the pink monkeys you want to roar at. And there's a certain number of pink monkeys in the level that you need to roar at. And you can roar at them a couple times, as you can tell. See, I'm trying to roar at the blue monkey there, but the pink monkey's getting affected still. And the blue monkey's just like, yo man, I don't care. So, it's the pink monkeys you want to roar at. And you only have to roar at them once. So, alright, so here's a part that gets everybody stumped. One of the first parts. You have these arrows here that are going to tell you to go up, down, and double jump. What you want to do is you want to get past these like rhinoceros things, I don't know what they actually are, and not hit them. For the first part, they actually tell you when to do it. But in the later level, they're not going to tell you that. And I'll go over that when we get to that. So this part's a little tricky as well. You want to get across the water by swinging on the hippo's tails. But you don't want to go too fast, because that happens. So here's the feature about the Disney Classic version. You have a rewind feature. So if you die, you could just hit, I think it's R on the Switch version, and you can rewind back to where you want to be at and avoid death. That is nice for this version. I'm not going to be using it for the Let's Play, if I die, I'm just gonna start back like true Super Nintendo game was, because I want to play this like we're playing the original version, even though we're playing the Disney Classic version. So I'm not gonna be using that much. So here's another save point. This is where I think is a good save point, and you want to save here because this is another part that's going to be hard. This is our second ostrich level. This time they're not going to show you the arrows, so I did everyone a favor and I added the arrows myself and what is the direction you need to do. This part stumped me a lot as a kid, I'm not gonna lie. So I am trying to make this as easy for everyone as I can. So just follow the arrows on this video and you should be fine at this part. So that was our second ostrich part, and we're done with the ostrich. We don't have to worry about it anymore. But here comes another part that got a lot of people stumped, and this is like the biggest thing. I got stumped on the ostrich part myself when I was a kid, but this part here gets a lot of people. So you got a bunch of monkeys here, and you want to go over to that second rhino and get that one up there. So you might be thinking, there's only like one pink monkey here we can really roar at right now, right? Well, let's roar at him and let's take the first rhino. And I love how the rhinos like bump you up with their horn, and Simba doesn't even care, by the way. So now we're on the other side of the map, and we want to roar at this pink monkey. And then looking down carefully so we don't get hurt here, we want to go back down. Don't worry if you accidentally hit the rhino here, because it's just going to bring you down here. So what we want to do is jump across this, and you want to be quick because yeah, that happens. You'll die. So be quick jumping across these logs here to get back over to this first area. So you might be thinking, well, we're done, right? We can just take this rhino and get out of this level because we're at the end of the level. Well, almost. We're almost done. You want to take that first rhino again and let these monkeys drag you way over here, and this is going to put you at the top part. So roar at this monkey here, this pink monkey, and then jump and get that bug. It's just like a little health bug, so we can get some health back. So you might be thinking, now we're truly done, right? So let's take the rhino and get on out of here. Well, again, close. There's one more thing we have to do, and this is the part that stumped a lot of people because they was thinking, oh, well, we roared at all the pink monkeys, right? Why aren't we getting out of here? If I do that, it just takes me back. So there's a little trick here. This first pink monkey down here, this is the only monkey you have to roar at twice to beat the level. You have to roar at it once to get you across to the other side, and then once you do all this, you have to roar at it again. And this pink monkey up here is gonna go yeep and toss you, and that's it. That's the end of the level. Hey everyone, what's going on? I'm Eternunique, and welcome back to Let's Play The Lion King. This time we're going to be taking on the elephant graveyard, which is not one of my favorite levels. So before I actually get into this video, before we start the elephant graveyard level, I want to make a quick note on the controls. I know I said in the last video I was going to go over the controls in detail, so I figured this is a good time to do it. So up on the screen you see a image of the Super Nintendo controller for the Super Nintendo version of this game, and this is from the official manual that comes with the game when you get the Super Nintendo version. And you can see this controller there with the R, L, X, A, B, Y, start, select, and control pad buttons. And I know it's a little bit hard to read like how it was with the collectibles, so I'm going to go ahead and read what it says here to do each control. So it says to do this on one side, on the left side, and then press this on the right side. To move right or left, control pad right or left. To crouch, duck, or look down, hit control pad down. To look up, control pad up. Slash as adult Simba is Y button, as well as using X button as adult Simba to attack or like flip enemies, which we'll get into when we get into adult Simba. Make Simba pounce is B button and land on top of an enemy, and that's adult Simba as well. Make Simba roar, which is both cub and adult, is A button. Jump up, try to grab onto rock, ledges, bones, and paw holds is B button. Jump right or left, B button, and control pad right or left. Jumping slash as adult Simba, B and then hit Y. Roll as young Simba. I kind of went over this part in the first video, but I didn't really go into details of it, so people might have been confused, like, well, how do I do that? You just say hit down, but I'm hitting down and he's not doing anything. So what you do is you hit the control button down diagonally and hit either right or left. So like basically hold down the D-pad and then hit right and left at the same time. And then Simba will do his roll. And that's only for cub Simba, by the way. That isn't for adult Simba. Jump right or left while hanging, control pad right or left, and B button. Climb up while hanging is control pad up. And then obviously start button just pauses the game. And select button really doesn't do anything in the original version. But in the Disney Classics version, it brings up that menu where we can save, load, and all that stuff like I've been doing. Where I've been showing you like, okay, this is a good save spot and all that stuff. So I wanted to go ahead and go over the controls in detail because I didn't really get to explain it in the last video. And I also want to correct something that I said in the last video as well. I wanted to play this game like I'm playing the original Super Nintendo version, which I am. I'm not really using like the rewind feature is not what I'm using. I'm using the save points because they give them to you for a reason in this version. So I figured why not save and use them. The only thing I'm not doing is the rewind stuff. Like if I die or I fall off and I can hit the R button on the Switch because I'm playing the Switch version and I can roll back to a certain point where I was playing and avoid that death and avoid losing lives and everything. I'm not doing that. I'm using the save points. So if I die, I can just reload the game and it'll bring me back to that save point. I know that's still kind of like quote unquote cheating, but they give you that for a reason in this version of the game with the Super Nintendo Genesis version, whatever you want to call it. They give you that for a reason in the Disney Classics version. And I'm going to take advantage of that because that's the version I'm playing and I want to show off everything for that version that I can, along with showing off everything for the Lion King in general. So I hope people don't get mad at me for that, but that's just how I'm playing this Let's Play and that's how I want to do this Let's Play in general. And I want to help people get through this game because I know this game can be hard, and if I have to make save points to get through the game and you guys are following along with me and you're using the same thing, that's good. That's helping people be able to beat this game. So kind of wanted to make a note on that stuff and show the controllers off. So with that being said, let's actually get into the level. So starting off here, we're gonna have these two hyenas who don't like Simba being in their area, which I kind of don't blame them. So just like last time, we're using the same trick of letting them jump over us and then going and hitting them when they're panting pretty much and tired out. But this one's a little bit harder because that can happen. On hard mode, you have to hit them 3 times in order to defeat them. And they can be mean, as you can tell, because you're dealing with 2 of them at once. But if you can get lucky, like I kind of did there, you can get them both down. And then once you get 1 down, you just use the same trick as we used in the first episode at the end of the Prairie Lands level. So you come on here, get that bug. Once that path opens up, do not get this bug. This is a bad bug. It's one of the bugs that was on the list that we don't want to collect. So be careful about rolling into that one. So we're just going to go along here and then we come up to this part. Now this part I hate because the hyena's right here and you could skip it. You could literally skip it. You could just swing on those bones. I know that sounds wrong, but that's what they are. And you could just bypass this hyena if you want to. But because we're going for 100%, we're gonna take care of this hyena and then get our goodies that's over here. But this hyena wants to give us trouble, apparently. And there we go. I hate this part because when you're trying to jump on the hyena, sometimes you can miss and you can jump on the bones instead, and then you're just in trouble because the hyena can still get you. But up here's a special bug to increase one of our meters. So let's collect that and then swing away and continue on. There's a lot of secrets in this level, and that's why I've been showing the maps too. Like I said in the first episode, I'm showing the maps for a reason, to show where everything's at. But there's a lot of hidden goodies in these levels, and you kind of have to be good with platforming for this level, and I'm not very good with platforming. For example, you can jump up here to get up on a platform that has a couple of goodies we can get, but as you can tell, if you just swing Simba back and forth like this, you're not going to get anywhere. There's a certain trick you have to use for this, and I'm not good at this, I'll admit. It takes me a couple times to get this going here. So what I like to do is I like to pause, get my bearings, swing, turn Simba around, jump up there, and keep going. And then on the fourth bone, swing him around again, and then jump for the fifth one. Like that. And then you can jump up here on the platform. It sounds a lot easier when you're wording it, but it's... I didn't mean to fall down here. Hold on. Let me get back up there. Okay. After that little cut, it sounds a lot easier than actually doing it. Let me put it that way. But you got to take a leap of faith here and jump, and then if you want to get the other items, you can get back up here again. And once again, using the same tricks of turning Simba around when you need to. And if you fall, don't worry about it. It's just, there's no fall damage in this game, so you can retry again. But I always had trouble with that part. I don't know why. Even as a kid, I had trouble with that part. So there's 2 bugs there that we can use to recover some health if we need to. And then you got these vultures. Oh, the vultures. The vultures are mean. Also, there's a hidden bug there too, so don't forget that one. Just kind of roll into it. But the vultures are mean because they like to double team on you. Kind of like how the hyenas do. The vultures will fly, which makes it 10 times worse. So, yeah, be careful. They can really do some damage in hard mode especially, so be very careful. So there's a bug there. We're not going to worry about it because it's just a health bug and we're at full health. Well, we was at full health, but see what I mean? See like how mean they can be? They're just bullies. So there's a checkpoint, and I suggest saving here because this part of the level can get rough too, and I like to make a quick save. So there's like this geyser here, right? And you want to be careful because that can happen. Be very careful. What you want to do is you want to quickly get up here. Once again, you kind of have to be good at this game to get up here. And if you're lucky, like I got there, sometimes you can overwrite the game where the geyser will just stop and you can move on and go like that. There's a couple different ways the geyser part can work, and I'll show it off in this video too. Once we're done with the level, I'll show the different ways you can get bypass that. But I got the lucky one. That's my favorite one to get, where you can like go so fast that the game just kind of gives up and doesn't. It's just like, okay, you win. I'm not gonna be able to catch up with you, so you win. Be careful up here not to fall, because this hyena can knock you down if you're not careful. And if you fall, you have to do a good portion of the level again. So be careful. What I like to do is, if I can bait these hyenas to come over here, they're not wanting to listen to me for some reason. What I like to do is, if you can, sometimes they'll be really stupid, like that, and they'll fall down. And you can get them both down like that, and then you don't have to deal with them. You can't fight them normally, obviously, but where's the fun in that when you can bait them off the ledge and make them fall, and then you don't have to deal with them anymore? So that's one way to deal with those 2 hyenas. You got these vultures here. Again, be very careful. And I wasn't, so let's try that again. Just be careful. This level's rough. I'm not gonna joke around. Like, I can't wait to be king levels Route 2 with the monkeys, but this one's worse in my opinion. And as each level goes on, there's gonna be other levels that are worse than this. There's one in particular when you get to play as adult 𝗁𝘂 where I can't stand it. So be careful on this like little trampoline part too, because so many uses and it'll break and then you're just in trouble. So try not to use it too much. Now we're back to where we started at the beginning of the level, but we're on the top portion. And this is it. This is the last part of the level. Once you beat this part, you've beaten the level. So you got two hyenas here, once again, trying to bait them and then hit them. And I don't know how I didn't take hit damage there. But there we go. That's what I like to do, is get them both tired and then jump on them at once. But that doesn't always work, so. And they're just mean, as you can tell. So we got one down. But then a third one shows up. And that's where it gets rough. Because that third one's mean. It doesn't want to let Simba leave. It's like, nope, you beat my friend, I'm gonna beat you. I know that sounds wrong, but that's what he does. And then I just die because I can't get past these hyenas for some reason. That's why I'm like cutting out the parts where I die, by the way, and have to get back up here. And I'm using the same method where I saved at the geysers, and I'm just making my way back over here so I can still get extra lives and all that stuff too. So we just roll down here, and there's Scar, just looking, waiting, so we know what happens next. So here's the other two methods for the geysers. This is what's supposed to actually happen. It's supposed to follow you up, and you can hear it, but be quick. So you can, you know, kind of mess up here and not be able to get that bug if you're not careful. But then if you like walk over to the side, they disappear, and then you can get the bug that way. And then the other one is you can like really be quick, and I've done this stuff too, and you can take a leap of faith and get up here before they reach you. And that's what I like to do. So that's two ways you can do it as well. Now we're on the Stampede level, and this level has no collectibles or anything like that. It's just basically a survive type of level. You have the wildebeest here, like in the movie, that are causing the stampede, and then like in the movie, Mufasa is supposed to come down and save you. Well, Mufasa isn't like really a character in this game. He's like in the background type of character. So you're only playing as Simba in these levels. So what you have to do on this level is avoid the rocks, and those little question marks basically tell you, hey, there's a rock coming up, but we don't know where it is, so be careful. And then you got the wildebeest to avoid. And if you get on the sides there like that, you'll get hit. And then you have the rocks that you have to jump over. When the music gets to this part, when it starts getting like more dangerous sounding, you're almost through the level. That's like your cue of, okay, we're almost done with this level. So that's one good thing. And then that's it.
Kill him.
Okay, Scar. Hey everyone, how's it going? I'm Eternunique, and welcome back to Let's Play The Lion King. This time we're going to be starting off on Simba's Exile. Now there's two different paths you could take on this level, and I'm going to be showing off both paths. One leads you pretty much straight forward, but you miss some goodies if you take the straightforward path. And the other allows you to collect everything on the level, which is what we want to do, because again, this is a 100% playthrough. So coming across these blue bugs here, you want to go down here and roll, and then a boulder's going to chase you. Roll into that porcupine and avoid the boulder. And this is the straightforward path. We've already missed some goodies by just doing that. So if you want to get everything like I'm trying to do in this Let's Play, you're going to have to take the other path. So let's show it off now. So this is the path that allows you to get everything. There's nothing down that first hole there, so ignore it. But you want to jump down here and get that bug if you need to. And I always thought this was funny. Like, you could roar at this porcupine and it goes straight up instead of like just rolling on its back for some reason. I don't know why it does that, but I thought that was funny. Anyways, go down there and get that bug. You have to roll into the wall and get it, and then cross these blue bugs here. Now this is where it changes. Roll down this wall here and you get a couple of goodies. Mostly some meter level ups for our health and roar, and I think it was a health bug as well is what it was. But that was some goodies we could have missed if we took the original path. And by taking that hidden path, we missed a good portion of the level that we had already seen before. So it's kind of a little shortcut as well, because you avoid that first boulder instead of having to deal with it, and you just take the second boulder path. So we're already almost halfway through this level by doing that. And I wanted to show off both paths because, well, 100% playthrough, but in case you don't care about getting anything, you can just go straight forward that way. But if you do want to get everything, like I'm trying to do, then kind of need to show off both ways. So at that checkpoint there, you want to make a save and then come down here and go through these porcupine stuff. I'm going a little bit slow here because the rocks. You might have noticed that there's some rocks falling down. Made a mistake, didn't jump over that porcupine. So right here, ooh, that was close. I almost got hit by that rock. Roll into this wall, and there's one up here for on difficult mode. I don't think that one up is there on normal and easy. It's only on difficult, so. And then that happens. I don't know why that happens sometimes. I tried to grab the ledge and the game's like, nope, you're gonna just fall and die. So I had to replay through the level again to get back to where I was from the checkpoint. And I had to get the one up again. But that's it. That's it for that level.
Never come back! We'll kill ya!
And now we're on Hakuna Matata. This is honestly my least favorite Cub Simba level. There's two levels in this game I don't really like, and this is the first one. So there's a lot of different paths here, as you saw on the map. I'm not going to be showing off where to get everything on this one. I'm just going to get like the main bugs that, you know, does the upgrades, the bonus mini games and all that stuff. So if you're trying to follow on with this guide, that's the path we're going to be taking. So there's a lot of different paths here. What you want to do is you want to avoid as many enemies as you can because there's a lot. These spiders. I hate these spiders. The frogs will spit out like poisonous stuff at you, but the spiders, they can jump on you and they can move around like that. So be careful. Up here, you want to do some platforming. Be careful though, because sometimes you might miss, like I did there, and you just want to make your way up here. It's really not that hard if you know what you're doing. But here's our first checkpoint of the level. And then there's a health bug there if you need it, which I just went ahead and grabbed because I was a little bit low on health. So if you get the health bug, you have to make your way back up here again. But again, it's not that hard if you know what you're doing. Just take it slow if you need to. You don't have to go like fast like I did. So I'm bounce on these frogs, get rid of them. Tried to jump on that spider and he's like, nah. So I'm going to take this first path and go right, left, left. And that gives us another upgrade to our health meter. But doing that puts us at the very bottom of the level. And here is the part that I hated as a kid. I'm not gonna lie. So the waterfall. The waterfall is terrible. You have to jump on these logs to make your way up the waterfall. And as you can tell, some of them go fast and some of them go slow. And I made a grave error there. But yeah, some of them go fast, some go slow. You want to kind of just balance yourself out on this and make your way up. Be very careful because one little slip and you could fall like I did earlier. So this ledge here where I'm saving at is where we would have ended up if we took another path that we're not going to be showing off. I would show up both ways, but for this level, it's not worth it. I did on Simba's Exile because it was a little bit easier. But on this level, it's a little bit harder because there's so many different paths. And I just want to show off the main path that I'm taking to get everything on the levels, all the collectibles pretty much. Right there where that log was, if I didn't already have full lives for difficult mode, there would be another 1-up right there. So that's where another 1-up is if you need to get one, on the right side there about where I fell. I think it might actually be a little bit higher than that, but it's in that area. But because I've already got 8 lives, which is the max number of lives I can get right now, it's not going to appear because the game's like, well, you got max lives, I don't need to give you another one. So there we go. Make your way up and then go over here. Be careful here not to hit those spiders or to fall down, because if you fall down, you have to make your way back up the waterfall again. So be careful not to fall. And be careful not to fall there too, because that's going to take you straight down to where the boss is. But there's a hidden path over here we can roll into. Just be very careful. I can't tell you how many times I've tried to roll into this, and I've ended up hitting that spider and getting Simba killed. So be very careful about that spider there. And that spider too, that's dangling. Alright, so here's another checkpoint. And we're at the end of the level already. We went pretty much the fastest path we could go. And this is the boss of the level. I don't know why this guy is here. He was not in the movie, but he's here added as a boss for the 𝗂𝗂𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 level for some reason. I don't know his name. I don't think there's been an official name for this guy. I just know him as the monkey that wants to kill Simba. Like that. Because he just wants to slap you and then you land in the water and dead. So be careful. There is a way to beat this guy pretty easily. What I like to do is when he's throwing his little like coconut things, just jump over him. And then when he does his pounding into the ground, jump up and hit him. Just try not to get too close to him and you shouldn't get hit. But as you can tell, and as you saw earlier, he can hit you. And he can slap pretty hard, so be careful. You can also jump on the coconut things to make them disappear, but that doesn't always work either. So just jump when he's doing that and be careful. There's points where he'll like start to go up, and I don't know what was going on here with my controller. I've been having problems with my controller lately. My Pro controller for the Switch, where sometimes it doesn't read my button commands and doesn't want to do that. Like right there. I thought he was gonna go like straight up to the other platform, but he jumped back down and then he went up. So be careful of that. That's a little trick I forgot about that he does to trick you. And it's like, oh, I'm gonna go straight up. Oops, no, you're standing right where I need to jump, so I'm just gonna jump right on you. So jump on him again, and then this is the last round of him, because after this he's gonna do something funny. For anybody that knows this game knows what he's gonna do. So we're just gonna avoid the coconuts, and you might notice that he starts to throw more and more the more you fight him. Okay, so jump on him there, and then a little cutscene's gonna play. And that's it. That's the 𝗂𝗂𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 level. Hey everyone, how's it going? I'm Eternunique, and welcome back to Let's Play The Lion King. We started off on Simba's Destiny this time, and we have no longer Cub Simba, but a full-grown adult Simba, who has some new moves. We can punch, we can roar, we can like bend down on the ground and do like a punching move, and we got like the swipe method. So Simba's got some new moves that he's ready to show off, and it's going to come in handy in this level, as this level is going to introduce some new stuff. So starting off, we can still swing across those things. That's not the new stuff. But we got this like leopard looking animal, and Simba can literally punch them to death, which is kind of cool. And I love this level. This is, I'm going to be honest, this is my favorite level in the game, and there's a reason for that. I love the background, for one. The whole nighttime background in the jungle looking area back there. There's a hidden bug right here, by the way. Kind of just jump up here and get it for Simba to get and use. But I love the background, for one. I love the music, and I want to talk about the music for a second. But first I need to talk about the enemies on this level. We have these monkeys, and you can just go up and punch them. You can also, if you get like at a good enough closeness to them, like a good enough range to them, you can roar at them. And that will also cause them to be like, oh my god, he roared at me, I'm gonna faint now. And in this little like area here, there's gonna be a bunch of these leopard things coming at you. What I like to do is I like to just bend down and start punching. I have found that doing that, they can't really touch you as much. They can still touch you, but as long as you're hitting that button and you're just punching away, they can't really do much to you. So, also, this is one of the levels where you can go back and get stuff that you might have missed. Be careful on these rocks because, you know, you have to kind of swipe them down to get them to roll. And I've had problems where I done that and somehow died. So be careful. Okay, the roar didn't work here because the monkey is a little too far away. So we're going to have to go up there and just smack and smack. So, yeah. Alright, I'm going to talk about the music in just a second, but I want to explain this. This is one of the rocks where you don't want to hit it right away. Instead, you want to jump up and grab that continue. And then you can hit the rock. Again, be careful. What I like to do is I like to hit it and quickly turn around and go the other way. We're just going to roar at that monkey to get him out of the way, and there's another bug down here. The music on this level is different. You can hear the music that was playing during this scene of the movie where Simba meets up with Rafiki again after so long, and then Rafiki tells Simba that his father Mufasa is still alive, quote unquote, and so forth and so on. However, there's a part in this music that's actually playing right now where I didn't know this for the longest time. This is part of a song called Endless Night, and it was part of the Lion King Broadway show that they showed in New York for many, many, many years, and I think they might still show it. But this was like a song that I first heard when I got a copy of the Broadway musical CD when I was younger. And I didn't know what some of these songs were. Like, this was called Endless Night, the song that's playing now. And then there's another song that I really liked on that album called Shadowland. And it's also in this game. And I was thinking, that is really cool. Okay, here's another one of those rocks. This is the rock that always used to get me. Or boulder, as it should be called. Again, just kind of jump away from it once you hit it and then swing across these and you're good to go. But there was some music in this game that I didn't know existed. And my little childhood mind, that's the end of the level right there, by the way. We're almost there. But my little childhood mind didn't know about this stuff. And when I was a kid, I thought I knew everything about the Lion King. Apparently I didn't. And there's still stuff today. You know, me being, I'm not going to say my actual age, but me not being a kid anymore, and this movie being out since like 1994, there's still stuff I'm learning about not only this game, but the Lion King stuff in general. And even as a fan, I'm still learning stuff. And it shocks me. I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that. Or maybe I knew something, but I got the information kind of wrong thing. So when I learned about these songs, I was shocked. I was like, this is really good music. Why wasn't it in the movie? It kind of was. It just wasn't like it is in the Broadway show. And there's only like certain parts to the songs that are in the movie compared to it being on the Broadway show. I recommend, if you can, and you're a fan of the Lion King, go listen to that album. It's really good. And that is why that is my favorite level in the game. Because you get to see Mufasa like actually be in the game. Now we're on a level called Be Prepared. Be prepared indeed. This level ended a lot of runs when I was a kid. my brother and I would get to this level and we would just get frustrated and give up. This level's hard, and I'm not joking when I say it's hard. You've got so much to deal with on this level. You have the regular enemies, you have bats that come down, you have the lava dripping down, you have the lava like fountain stuff coming up. I know there's an actual term to it, but that's what I'm calling it. You have hyenas, there's just so much. I could not beat this level as a kid. I honestly couldn't. And I'm going to show you what happens if you try to actually take your time on this level. You might think, okay, I'll just stand here and wait until like the lava stops dripping and then I'll go. No, because you still have the fountains and stuff to deal with. And even though you have like a second of invisibility frames, I can't say the words, you can still get hurt a lot. Like, you look at this, like the lava's just dripping from the ceiling. How unfair is that? You might be fighting an enemy and then all of a sudden you get pounded by lava from the ceiling. Like, even if it's just a speck, it still hurts. That stuff is hot. That stuff can kill. So this level is definitely unfair. Like right here, I'm standing here waiting for this thing to go down and I get hit. And if I take one more hit, I'm dead. Like that. This is the death screen for adult Simba, by the way. I know I haven't seen, I haven't shown Simba's death screen for Cub Simba, but it's basically the same thing. So let's actually try to beat this level now. I did that on purpose, by the way. I let myself die on purpose so I could show it off. But yeah, this level's hard and there's a lot to collect in this level. There's one secret area that I didn't know about for years, and it wasn't until recently I actually learned about it. Like I said earlier, I'm still learning stuff about this game so many years later. So let's try to get through this level. This level is my nightmare. But yeah, you gotta, like, when it comes to the bats, what I like to do is if I see them and they're not attacking me, I like to jump up and hit them off the ceiling before they can come down. And that immediately gets rid of them. And that's going to come in handy for later in the level. These like leopard jaguar things, I don't even know what they are really. They're not that hard. The hyenas aren't that hard, but yeah. So over here you got this little hidden area. And there's 3 items here. And this bat, I got lucky. This bat knocked me into the other item. Because you can't see them. They're hidden, obviously. I got the first 2 items, but the third one, you have to wait until that bat knocks you into it. How dumb is that? So I'm going to make a save here because I got those items, and I don't want to do that again. So if I die, I can just resume from here. They do give you a lot of health because I knew that this level was going to be hard. But on difficult mode, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I can't even speak because it's so ridiculous. But yeah, I'm not even halfway through the level. And look at all that they're throwing at us. They got bats, hyenas, and all that stuff. Oh goodness. I've had like trauma with this level when I was a kid. I'm not going to lie. So what you want to do here is you want to go for the second thing, like the second, I don't even know what it's called, platform thing that you can knock down. Be careful though, because you could get hurt pretty bad. Once you knock that platform down, go down that path, and there's like 3 items there, including a 1-up and 2 bugs. You could go the other path, but all it has is a checkpoint, and you really don't need the checkpoints on the Disney Classics version because you can save at any time, plus you can rewind. So I'm skipping the checkpoint and I'm getting the items. So this part here, this part killed me a lot when I was a kid because you're on this little platform riding across lava and you got these bats, and if they hit you, you're pretty much dead. As you saw, I died there at one point. So what I like to do for here is you kind of have to be on a timer here and be pretty quick because you have to get back on this platform. and you don't want that platform to leave without you. So what I like to do is I like to skip that hyena and just move on. And I'm gonna make another save here because I know what's coming up. And this killed me a lot. This killed me a lot as a kid as well. I'm getting ton time because I don't like this level. It's not my most hated level though, but I don't like this level. Actually, no, I take that back. It probably is my most hated level in this game. So there's like 3 levels in the game I hate altogether. The first one being the Hakuna Matata level, just because it's a big map and there's a lot and you could get lost in that level. But this one I hate too, because this is where my childhood brain could not figure out, and I could not beat this game as a kid because of this level. My brother was able to get past it, but I couldn't. I had to get him to beat it for me because I was getting like so frustrated as a kid, and he was kind enough to do that for me. So alright, so we're at the end of the level here. There's a checkpoint here, and notice how the checkpoint's different with adult Simba actually looking like adult Simba on the checkpoints now. So I'm gonna speed this part up here because I want to show you how ridiculous this part is. What you have to do is you have to wait. You literally cannot do anything but wait. And wait until these lava things bring down these platforms. And there's 4 of them. So what I like to do is I like to just go back and forth on the first 2 here. Wait for the rocks to come down. But sometimes the rocks can still hit you just like that. And you're just dead. There's something to do. So be very careful at this part. You don't want to stand on the ground itself because that's where the rocks are. So what you want to do is you want to stand on the actual like fountain things, and I don't know what they're called. Like, I know there's an actual term for them, but my brain is not working for me right now. But what you want to do is stand on these fountain things and jump from one to another. When it starts like bubbling up, then you want to jump off of it and go to the next one, and then go back and forth like that. You could stand where in between the things, like on the solid ground in between the fountain things, but again, that's where the rocks are actually falling at, and you're just gonna take damage. So don't do that. So as you can see there, I wasn't like quick enough to get off of that, but the platforms have come down, and this last platform that's about ready to jump down, that's the one you want, and that's it. That's the end of the level. But let me show you what happens if you try to jump and the platform hits you. Instant death. And I had full health. I had full health, and that was an instant death. That's another thing that I hate about that level, is the platforms, because you could be doing so good on that part at the end, waiting for the last platform to drop down so you can get out of the level, and you can make a wrong judgment at the last second, and Simba's instantly dead because the platform fell down on him and just instantly kills him. So yeah, that level is not fun. It definitely stinks for sure, and that is the level that ended my run when I was a kid. And I remember trying to get past that level for like weeks, and I just couldn't do it, and I had to get my brother to help me. But the next level that we're going to be coming up to, I definitely have a story to tell on that level. Hey everyone, what's going on? I'm Eternunique, and welcome back to Let's Play The Lion King. We are now on Simba's Return, which is a very interesting level, as you can see by the map here. This level is nothing but a big maze, and it is not a level I enjoy. This is also the level where, as you might have known from the first part of this Let's Play, I could not beat this game, and this is the level where my brother and my cousins spent like that whole weekend trying to get past because it's such a huge maze. I do not like this level. And right here, if you go up there and defeat those hyenas, you would get a 1-up if you need it, by the way. I just wanted to mention that. I just wanted to show where a 1-up was in case you need it. I'm going to be showing off where a couple 1-ups are, but I'm not going to be getting them because I'm at full lives for difficult mode. But yeah, this is the level where I watched my brother and my cousins try to beat that one weekend, and we just couldn't do it. we literally spent like the whole weekend trying to beat this level. I don't know why we couldn't. We just couldn't. We might not have had enough lives in the game or whatever, but we just couldn't beat this level for whatever reason. We eventually did, and we eventually did beat the game, but this is the level I remember having so much trouble on and watching my brother and them try to beat it that one weekend. So, but yeah, this level's a big maze, and I get lost in it. There's another one up here, by the way. If you go over to the right side and jump down, and there'll be a one up there as well. But what you have to do on this level is every time you enter an area, there's going to be some hyenas. You have to beat the hyenas that's in each room in order to proceed. Kind of think of it like the doors are locked until you defeat the enemies in the room, kind of thing. And sometimes getting through these doors do not want to work because you can stand right in front of it and hit. You're supposed to hit up on the D-pad, and Simba's supposed to go through the doors, but he doesn't always want to do that. But right here is a extra boost to our life meter, so make sure to get that, and that gives us a full life meter, so make sure to get that as well. But yeah, this level is nothing but a huge maze, and you know, for obvious reasons, it's not a very well liked level, and oh my goodness, it's a big maze. That's all I can really say on it. I'm trying to show off where everything is on the level. There's a few extra lives we can get, and I was saving that bug. It was at the beginning because I knew I was going to need it eventually, and I didn't want to get it and not need it until I actually needed it. So, but yeah, the whole gimmick of this level is trying to work your way up to Pride Rock. As you can see there in the background, Pride Rock is not looking good, and the whole Pride Lands is kind of fallen to ruin because, well, as we know from the movie, Scar let everything get out of hand and brought the hyenas in, and that kind of ruined the whole quote-unquote circle of life. And yeah, this part here, this is a good way to like jump down and really attack the hyenas and show off Simba's most powerful move, which we're going to be needing for the next level as well. So you could like jump down on them, and Simba can just like start slapping them all over the place, and that does a lot of damage to the enemies. So yeah, right here, this is the room that kind of got me confused a lot when I was a kid, because you have like 3 different holes here, or entrances, and it can get confusing. Like I said, this whole level is nothing but a big maze for obvious reasons. So I'm trying to show the correct path and show you where to go, so make sure to just follow along. Follow where I go. There's, again, I was showing off where a couple 1-ups and stuff could be got, because you might need them for the next level as well, because the next level is going to be our final level of the game. We're almost done. We're literally at the end game. I know this game goes by fast, but then again, it's a Super Nintendo game and it's based off the Lion King movie, so it's not going to be like a 30-hour game or anything like that. Unless like you're having a lot of trouble. This is the final room. You beat these 3 hyenas and you beat the level. Literally, you just beat these 3 hyenas and you're done with this level. And I always remember that because I always got to that room and I remembered that room for obvious reasons. So alright, so here is Pride Rock's map. There's not a whole lot of items on this one, and let's go ahead and get started. This is where we're gonna finally face off with Scar. Your best method to fighting Scar is to jump on him and do that whole slapping move like I just did there, because again, that does a lot of damage. Be careful on this level. There's a lot of like swinging things you have to swing on, and there's a lot of like pits you could fall into. Be very careful. Try not to go like too fast. This level isn't very big, even though it's the last level of the game. But there's a lot of gimmicks to it. As you can see there, lightning just struck and caught the platform on fire, and that guy is just like burning in it. That's kind of a bad way to go. But lightning's gonna strike these and be careful, by the way, to not fall down here, because this is just gonna lead you back to the beginning. And do that. So lightning is going to strike these platforms and it's going to block your path. There's a reason for that, because you're not supposed to go that way. And I'll be showing off a very good example of that in here in just like a couple minutes, really. So you can jump over here and then get that bug and then jump back like I just did, and then take the top path after you get that bug. And this is going to lead you on the correct path. There's no like really hidden secrets for this level. It's just kind of straightforward. Like I said, the really only gimmick is the lightning and the fire. Oh, that guy just kind of like jumped off the cliff, so we don't have to worry about him. That makes our job a lot easier. Thank you, hyena. We'll just take care of your friend instead. Like that. So you notice that 𝗨𝗏𝗀𝗏𝗏's on fire like it was in the movie. You might be thinking, how do I get over this fire? Well, you just jump. You just literally jump over it. And be very careful here. I've fallen off of this a lot. I'm used to it now, but in this area, I've fallen down into the pits and had to restart the level. So be careful there. You just gotta kind of jump with like timing, is what I'm trying to say. And be very careful there. So we're doing our second round with 𝗏𝗏. There's 3 rounds you have to fight with 𝗏𝗏. One was at the beginning of the level, and then halfway through the level, which is where we're at now. And then the last part will be when we get to the end of the level. So we gotta keep climbing up. We're literally on Pride Rock, where they stood like at the beginning of the movie and showed off the newborn prince and everything. But we're gonna have to make our way up to the very top of Pride Rock and fight 𝗏𝗏 like it was in the movie. Because in the movie, Simba chased 𝗏𝗏 all the way up to the top, and then he fought him, and then he threw him over the ledge. Well, guess what we get to do in this game? We get to throw 𝗏𝗏 over the ledge, and you'll see what I mean when we get to that part here in just a couple minutes. We're almost to that part where the puzzle gimmick comes in for this level. We're just gotta take care of these hyenas. Don't worry about taking damage too much at this point. Try to be careful though not to take too much damage. Like right now my health is at half, and that's because I've been fighting the hyenas and trying to get them out of my way. You can literally bypass them if you want to though. You don't have to fight them. I just like fighting them, but that's not always the best idea because they can take a lot of health off of you. So here's the part. The fire's gonna block off some platforms, and you're gonna get over here and you're gonna be like, okay, where do I go? Well, if you wait for just a second, the platform on top is gonna clear out the fire and you can jump on it, and then you jump up here, and you might be thinking, okay, now where do I go? I jump up here and those platforms are on fire, but there's platforms above me I need to get up to, so where do I go? Well, obviously not that way, because that fire is not gonna go out. So let's make our way back over to where we was by going down, up, and then down again, and then up again. And then we're going to jump back up onto this platform. So we can't go that way, but if you turn around, you notice that these platforms are now open up to us. And that's all you do. You just wait for the fire to clear, and then you make your way up. So I'm going to make a save here, because this is going to be our final battle with 𝗏𝗏. We're literally at the top of Pride Rock, and we have to fight 𝗏𝗏 again. Be very careful here. If you can, try to do that jumping move. I'm trying to do it here, but it's not really letting me do it here. Try to do that jumping move if you can, because that's going to do a lot of damage to 𝗏𝗏. But again, sometimes that doesn't always work. Like, I'm trying to get it to go, and 𝗏𝗏's just not having it. He's like, nope, not today, Simba. You're not going to slap me today, even though you're slapping me. You're not. Oh, there we go. If you can do that move, that does a lot of damage to him, so that's our best bet. You can fight him this way too. It's just going to take a little bit longer, especially on difficult mode. He takes a lot more hits. I'm not sure the exact number of hits he takes, and then he just decides to kill me. Okay, because my health was kind of low, so I had to reload and reload for my save and then try again. But he does take a lot of hits on difficult mode. I'm not sure how many hits he takes on each mode, like easy, normal, and difficult. I just know he takes a lot of hits on difficult. There's the method I was trying to do, where I like jump, back away, and then jump on him again. That is your best bet right here in finding Scar. Because if you jump and then jump away and then jump back on him again, when you jump away and he tries to like smack you, he can't hit you because you jumped away. Now that doesn't always work, mind you, but he can. Now when he gets to this point where he's just like laughing, he's done. So all you gotta do is just and throw him off the cliff. And then that's it. We have officially beaten the game. Now how you throw Scar is you go up to him, and when he's doing that laughing method of like, well, I call it laughing, but he might be like trying to catch his breath. Poor guy. You just go up to him and you hit the jump and slash buttons at the same time, which I think is X and A on the Super Nintendo. I'm trying to remember the controls here. I don't really look at buttons when I play games. I just know what button does what. But yeah, you just do that and Simba will throw him. Make sure you're near the ledge though when you throw him, because then the game will count it as the victory and then you beat the game. And he goes flying off. So, but yeah, that's it. We defeated Scar and we took our place as King, just like we saw in the movie. Simba is now the new King, and that's it. We've beaten the game. So now we're just gonna sit here and watch Simba enjoy his victory and listen to his awesome music that's playing in the background.
Everything the light touches is our kingdom.
And there's that lightning noise again. So here's the credits. By the way, this is the only time this song shows up in the game. We all know what this song is. It's Can You Feel the Love Tonight, that was played during the movie during a very romantic scene, if I'll say so myself, and putting that lightly. This is the only time this song appears in the game. Even though Nala was never in the game itself, but they decided to put this song in. There was a lot of different music in this game that I really did enjoy as a child, and even to this day, me being an adult, sometimes I'll listen to the Lion King music still just because it's such good music. But yeah, that game, the Lion King game on Super Nintendo, is something that always will mean a lot to me, because like I said in the first video when I was telling how I got into the Lion King and everything, I just really enjoyed this movie, and it's still my favorite movie of all time. I love the animated movie, but I also like the recent live action movie, which I know a lot of people didn't like, but I thought it was really good. When the live action movie came out in like 2019, I went and saw it with my husband, Matt's LP Adventures, and we liked it together, and he likes Lion King just as much as I do, so it was like, oh, okay, we can enjoy it together and we can talk about it and all this other stuff. So, but yeah, I really do enjoy this game. It does hold a lot of memories for me, and I like to go back and play it every once in a while. So I was glad I could go back and redo this LP, because I've been wanting to do this again for a while, and I've been meaning to do this LP again because I didn't really like how the old one was. You can still go back and watch the old one if you want to, because it's still on my archives channel, and I always have a link to my archives channel in my video descriptions. So there is like a montage of the old LP. It's not fully there, but you can still go back and watch it. So if you want to see the old LP, it's still there in a montage form. But I'm glad I got to redo this LP, and I'm glad I was able to beat the game and do it in a way that is more detailed than I did the old LP. And I hope everybody enjoyed this LP, and I hope it helped you guys and girls to be able to beat this game if you've never beaten this game and wanted to. And I hope that it helped you guys and girls 100% it like I did for this LP. So you're thinking we're done, right? We beaten the game, we're done. Not quite. There's one more video that I have that I'm going to be releasing that shows off some bonus stuff with the game, because there's too many games I didn't show off in this LP that I wanted to show off, and there's some extra stuff that I want to show off with the Disney Classics version as well. So we're going to have a bonus episode, but this is it for the main game. We've beaten the story, we done what we sought out to do with this LP, and I'm just going to release this bonus video and then we're officially done with it. Hey everyone, how's it going? I'm Eternunique and welcome back to Let's Play the 𝐿𝐴𝐿𝐴𝐿. Now that we finished off the main game, there's going to be some bonus stuff that I wanted to show off for this Let's Play. Starting off with 2 levels that I didn't show off in the main game. One of them being Bug Toss and the other one being Timon's Hunt, or like Bug Hunt levels. We're going to start off with Bug Toss first because it's the easier of the 2 games, and I say that with sarcastic voice because it's really not that easy. So in Bug Toss, you control Pumbaa as Timon is throwing these bugs down to you, and the whole gimmick of this minigame is to collect as many bugs as you can. As you can see, the rewind feature in the Classics version really helps with this, and you can also make a save, so if you collect a lot of bugs you can save it and could keep going that way without having to restart. But in the original version, you had to use what you could, and that means making Pumbaa burp to reset the bugs. The more bugs you collect, the better off you are, because you can get like 1-ups, extra lives, all that stuff. Getting 21 bugs is not that bad, but that's pretty much it for that minigame. The other minigame, there's 3 different levels to this, and I'm only going to be showing off the first one because they kind of all play the same. They're just different level designs. And Bug Hunt, you don't want to fall on the spiders, apparently, like I just did. Don't do that. That was a stupid move. But in Bug Hunt, you go around collecting these little bugs, and you want to avoid the bad bugs, which is obviously the spiders and the bugs that will end the level. The more bugs you get on this, the better. You do have a timer though, so be careful. You want to get as many bugs as you can within the timer, and you can get continues 1-ups and stuff from here as well. Again, the more bugs you collect, the better, because it's going to help you within your game, especially if you're playing on difficult mode, because in difficult mode you start off with 0 lives and you want to get as many lives as you can. This really helped on the original Super Nintendo version because, again, we didn't have these cheats, and if you wanted to play it legit, you had to do this. So that's really good. 2 really good mini games you could use to get like extra lives, continues, and stuff, pretty much starting off the bat. You collect bugs throughout the levels to enter those mini games. I just didn't show them off in the main playthrough because I wanted to show them off as a bonus thing. So now that we've seen that, there's some other stuff I want to show off. The first being, in the Disney Classics version, there is some screen options you can change. And what I mean by that is if you hit pause and go down to screen options, you can see that we have some options here we can use to change our screen and how we play the game. This doesn't affect the gameplay, mind you, it just affects how the game looks as you're playing. You have these filters, you have different side screens, and you have a border if you didn't want to just look at the black screen. The border's pretty nice. It's just a generic border, but it's alright. It's not like too cringy to look at, you could say. But you have these different screen options you can play with in the Disney Classics version. Obviously, if you're playing the original Super Nintendo version, you don't have these options. You just have what they give you. But I thought it'd be kind of cool to go through these screen options and see what they look like. And of course, I'm playing on Simba's Destiny because it's my favorite level in the game, and I wanted to play it again. So, you have these different options though, and I think they look really cool. Some of them are a little weird, like if you go back down here to monitor filter, and then we'll just turn the border off. And let's make it, let's make it a sharp screen. This looks a little weird because the screen's a little bit smaller, right? I don't know why you would play this on a smaller screen like this, especially if you're playing on Switch already and if you're playing in handheld mode. But it's there if you want to use it. Some people might like the smaller screen, but I personally rather have like a big screen because my eyesight is horrible and I don't like looking at a small screen where I can't hardly see anything. So alright, so that's that filter. Let's try the LCD filter and we'll put it back on full screen and we'll turn the border back on just because. This, in my opinion, looks the worst. This looks bad for an old Super Nintendo game. And if you don't know what LCD stands for, it stands for Liquid Crystal Definition. I think that's what it stands for. Not definition, but display. I was close. Liquid Crystal Display. And for a Super Nintendo game, this does not look too good. Like, the colors are all, like, washed out in a way. Simba looks kind of bad. I would not want to play like this, especially through the whole game. But that's just my opinion. So, you can go and change these filters anytime you want to. You can even just leave it at normal, like I just changed it back to normal. And you could just have the border on if you want to. I'm not showing off the stretch screen because I don't want my video to be stretched out. But there is a stretch screen there, but you don't ever want to stretch your videos out for obvious reasons on YouTube. So, but it is there if you want to try it. I personally do not like the stretch screen because it puts it way too far out. So, but it's there if you want to try it for yourself. So, the next thing I want to show off is something that I didn't really get to show off in the main playthrough. I'm turning invincibility on because I want to show this off. And we're going to go to the Pride Rock level because we are officially in cheat mode. Like, we've been in cheat mode through this whole video so far, but we are officially in cheat mode. So what the invincibility does, you can't die. Like, you can die through like pits and stuff if you fall in a pit, mind you. But you can't die through enemy attacks. Like, Scar is hitting me and I can get hurt, but I can't die. Because see, like, my health is down to 0 there on the top left corner. But he can't kill me because I have invincibility on. This is the cheat my brother had remembered and got us through the game when we were first beating the game. Oh, and this move. This move is kind of like insta kill when Scar does that move to you. You want to knock him off as fast as you can because the longer he does it, he'll kill you. But because we have invincibility on, he can't do anything to us. All he can do is just like slap us around, and Simba's just like, okay, cool. So we're just gonna go ahead and end him off there. But that is the cheat my brother had remembered, and there's a way to input it on the original Super Nintendo version, which I'm going to show off here. So if you go down to options and you type in BARRY, you'll get this little cheat menu. And right there it says invincibility on. You can also type in RAAB to get another cheat. And this cheat is kind of interesting. So with invincibility on, again, we can't get killed. But I'm going to show off something kind of funny that I had recently learned about. And I didn't know about this for years. But I wanted to show it off.
It starts.
Welcome to Upside Down Simba. So yeah, the RAAB cheat basically just flips Simba upside down. It doesn't change the level design, thank God, because that would have been a nightmare. But you also have what I like to call tank controls. And tank controls is basically weird. It's like reverse controls, like left is right and right is left kind of controls. And I'm going to be honest, I am not good at these controls. I have a hard time with them. In any video game that has them, I cannot do it. I have some friends and even my husband that can do them, but I personally cannot do them. So I'm like going to fail a lot here in this part. So, yeah, that's a fun little cheat if you want to like try to play the game through being upside down. I personally would not recommend it because this game is hard enough, but I think that's kind of funny. And you can't do this cheat on the classics version. It has to be on the original Super Nintendo version only, unfortunately. So, yeah, if you're playing the original Super Nintendo version, you can use this cheat. But I kind of deserve that death because I can't control it. But yeah, that's a fun little cheat if you want to try that out. So now that we've looked at basically everything we can on the Super Nintendo version, let's take a look at some of the other console versions, starting with the Sega console version. There is some slight differences. For one, on the Sega version, the music's going to be different. The, like, I'm trying to think of the word. The sound effects are going to be different. And that's because there's different hardware between the Sega system and the Nintendo system for obvious reasons. There's the same voice acting, but it's a little bit different. The music is different here, as you can tell. It sounds a little bit different. The sound effects are different. I personally think this version is good. I never grew up with the Sega version because I never had a Sega system growing up. My brother and I was always the Nintendo / PlayStation people. But for people that had the Sega version, you guys got off lucky with this version because this is a good version of the game as well. I personally just prefer the Super Nintendo version because that's what I grew up with and that's what I'm used to. But maybe one day I'll actually play through this game again and just play it through with the whole Sega version because I thought this version was great for the little time that I played it on the first level here. I think it's great. There's nothing wrong with it, in my opinion. I think it's a good port. I like it. I really do. There's not really much I can say on it, but I like it. And if you prefer the second version over the Super Nintendo, I say go for it. Now, the Japanese version basically is the Super Nintendo version, just with some different text. As you saw there when we started off on Simba's Destiny level again, there was some Japanese text under the title, the level title, and the Super Nintendo and the Sega version also had different fonts for their titles as well, as you might have noticed when I was playing through the Sega version. I forgot to mention that when I was talking about it. But the Japanese version basically is the Super Nintendo version, just with different fonts, and it has the Japanese text under it as well. So there's one more version we need to show off, and I'm just going to show off the handheld color version because there's really no difference between the handheld color version and the regular Game Boy version. This is like Game Boy and Game Boy Color versions, by the way. I do not like this version. I'm going to be straight up honest. I do not like this version. For one, you know, it's on a handheld, so it's going to be a little bit different. It's also really laggy on the classics version. Like, I am hitting those buttons fast, and it is lag. I don't like this version. Mind you, if this is all you had growing up, that's fine. Like, if this is all you had, then this is all you had. But I would prefer, myself, to play the Super Nintendo version. Because, again, that's what I grew up with, and I honestly think it's the better version of all three. Again, nothing wrong with the Sega version. I thought it was fine. But I prefer the Super Nintendo version myself. But yeah, this port of the game is bad. You can tell. Like, limited hardware, I get it. It's a Game Boy game, and it's a Game Boy Color game. But this version's kind of hard. Like, you only get like 3 hits and you're dead kind of version. But again, if this is all you had to play the game, I'm not gonna like be mean to anybody. I get it. This is all you had. You make what you make the best of what you have kind of scenario. I just think if you have the Super Nintendo version or even the second version over this, your best bet playing that version. Because this is just, my goodness, I can't even get past the first level. I don't like this at all. The music sounds okay, and I know it's limited hardware, I get it, but this is just bad. Like, the controls are bad. I'm trying to jump over these porcupines like I do in the Super Nintendo version, and it's such bad lag that it's killing me. Like, see, I'm trying to jump over it, and I'm just instantly dead. So, yeah, I don't like that version. My statement's been made quite a bit on that one. So the last thing I want to show off is we're going to watch a Let's Play. No, I'm not joking. In the classic Disney Classics version of The Lion King and Aladdin, and now with the Jungle Book added in, you can literally watch like a video guide within the game. They literally put YouTube in the game. So it's literally just one of the developers playing through the level and showing you how to get through the level. And they play through the whole game. They show you where every secret is, how you can get through the game. It's kind of interesting, but I would prefer going to watch a video on YouTube myself if I wanted to watch this. Mostly because, you know, nobody's perfect. Not even the developers of the Classics version. I get it. But this is just kind of bad to watch. I'm not gonna lie. I prefer you guys watch my actual Let's Play this. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah. That's pretty much all I wanted to show off. I'm just gonna let this video play while I kind of give my closing thoughts on the LP. I'm so glad I got to redo this LP after years of wanting to redo it. This was my first LP that I had on the Eternunique channel, and with this year being the 10-year anniversary, I thought it'd be fun to go back and, you know, go through the game again and do an LP, like a redo LP of the game again, because it's been over 10 years and obviously my commentary and my style has changed, and I wanted to just redo this game in general. This is one of my favorite games of all time, so I wanted to redo it. But I'm glad that everybody has enjoyed this LP. There's other games I want to do in the future that I want to redo as well. The Lion King was just the first one of it. I hope, you know, sometime in the future I can get to redoing like Metal Gear. I want to redo Kingdom Hearts again at some point. Those types of games.
Everything the light touches is our kingdom.
Well said, Mufasa. Well said. So, yeah, I hope that in the future I can redo some of the older LPs that I've been wanting to redo again. Like I said, Metal Gear, Kingdom Hearts. I'm trying to think of some others that I've redone in the past. Probably won't redo Castle Crashers because that one was kind of a special LP with my friend 𝗏𝗂𝗏 back at the time. That one we did a full LP on, and it's on the Archives channel if you guys want to go see it. The full LP is there. But yeah, this LP has been special for me, and I'm glad that I got to redo it. I'm glad that the Disney Classics version did get released and I was able to show all that off, and pretty much showed off everything in this LP. The only thing I didn't show off was like Simba's cub death animation, which I can literally just show it off here. So but yeah, I hope you guys and girls enjoyed this LP. Thank you so much for watching it, and I hope it helped everyone get through this game, because I know this game is infamous for being really hard, and I wanted to help people get through it. And with this LP, I found a style that works for me, and going forward I'm going to use this style to do LPs with. I'm gonna try to stay active on the channel, but life, happens. I still stream over on my Twitch channel as well, and I have a streams archive channel that I always link in the video descriptions if everyone wants to go watch those. I upload the full streams onto that channel so you guys can watch the full thing in your own time when you want to. I also have just a regular archives channel where I uploaded some old videos that was on the main channel that's no longer on the channel but are still there for memory's sake and to be watched at any time. So yeah, thank you so much for watching this LP. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, everyone.